Hi, it's Jez from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So I've got a quick tip video for you today, and it's a tip that I've decided I'm going to follow. I'm going to make a new journal, and this is going to be on the theme of nurses, and it's a personal journal for myself because I was a nurse and my mum was a nurse. I've got aunts and cousins that are all nurses, lots of nurses in the family. So I thought I'd pay a little bit of a homage to the nursing profession. And rather than get too overwhelmed, because I have a lot of stuff, like I was with my royal journal, I thought I'd pare down what I've got and sort of put it into a usable, manageable chunk to then be able to work on and have this as something I'll work on in between projects when I got a bit of time, maybe in front of the telly, not necessarily in front of the camera. Okay, so this is what I've been thinking about. So I'm going to start a new journal, and this one is going to be for me. I'm not giving it away, I'm not selling it, I'm going to keep it for myself. And it's one that I've wanted to do for a while, ever since I saw my friend Juanette from Juanette's Crafting Corner do a nurse themed journal. I thought, I need to do one of those because I was a nurse. I was a nurse for 20 years before I retrained as a teacher, and my mum was a nurse before me, and I remember as a child going to visit her on the ward and learning hospital corners. The sister of the ward used to let me, I was only about 9, 8, 9, I can't remember, and I used to go around and help make the beds and things. And in school holidays I sometimes would go in every day, you know. Then with the days, it was the 70s, and yeah, and then in the 80s I trained to be a nurse myself. My mum trained late in her life. She was about 40 when she trained, and I trained when I was 20. So yeah, so I'm approaching this in a completely different way to other journals that I've done, in that I've collected lots and lots of things. Now I've got here a book on Call the Midwife, and I literally only bought this at the weekend. And I thought, oh, there'll be lots of nice pictures in that, and indeed there were. And I have gone through and I've taken out all the pictures, and these are all the pages that I maybe won't use. I'm just right, there's loads of pictures in there, Jez. I thought you'd gone through them all. Well, I did go through them all. Some of these probably, well, they're not really nurse related, but there is a nurse there, Jez. You're now confusing me, because you could use that. Oh yeah. Well, maybe I need to go back through. What an idiot. Anyway, yeah, I think I do. So, so I've collected things, and I've sort of like kept putting them in a safe place. So these are photographs. This was from an actual photograph album that I purchased, and there was lots of photos in it, and there just happened to be some photos of these nurses. There was more than these two, and what I've done is I've put together a package to send to my friend Juanette as well, because she said she was going to do a personal nurse journal, and so I said, well, I've got things and I'm happy to share. So I've got more than enough for a journal. So I really like those. I think these are about 90. There's a wedding photo in, or several wedding photos in this album, and they were dated 1947. So I think that's roughly where this is from. In here I've got lots of things that I have been collecting from various book harvests and things, and there's some stamps. I've got loads and loads of stamps, so I went through and picked some out. So this is an American stamp, and this is Elizabeth Blackwell, who was the first woman physician. So not a nurse, doctor, but it's like, as long as it's sort of hospital and you know, sort of nurse based, I'm fine. So there is a South African stamp there with a nurse on. This is British stamp there. This is celebrating Lister Centenary Antiseptic Surgery. So that, I liked that. And this is, that just says the doctor on it. So I thought, oh, that'll be cool. This is an Australian first day cover, and that is the anniversary of the Red Cross Society. So I thought that was cool. There was one on midwives, and that's gone in my package to Juanette because she was an obstetrics nurse. And this is dental hospital, but I decided that I would include dentistry. And then I've got some pictures here. So that is the old Queen Mum visiting somebody in hospital. Quite like that. There's a nurse probably sterilising or cleaning scissors. This is a Tony Hancock sketch when he was the blood donor. It's quite a funny sketch, so I thought I'd include that. That's another picture taken on a hospital ward. Don't quite know what they're doing. They seem to have a television. Maybe they're celebrating having a TV in the ward. So yeah, we've got an old ambulance there. I think this is children being immunised en masse. Here, the children being checked. That's probably a health visitor visiting a mum at home. And look at that nurse's uniform. How cool is that? Love it. So some of these old books that I have, you know, that trace the history across a century, I think it was, that I got that for. And here is just a picture of a mum with a newborn baby, having been taught how to look after it in hospital. That's something weird going on there. I think that's some sort of light therapy for children. They've got little strange little goggles on there. That's like something out of a horror movie, really, isn't it? But yes, I think that's been treated for something. And here's another little treatment. So this was in an attempt to counteract flat feet. So rapid series of painless shocks in a sinusoidal bath. Well, I don't know. It had a strangely unpleasant sting to it. Yes. Anyway, thought those photos were good. And then I've got this little article here. This is from a publication from 1888, Century Illustrated Monthly Magazine. And if I turn the page, which is where the article is, this is an article on disease germs and how to combat them, which I thought would go well within the journal. So I might just use this as a page in the journal. That one, as it's come apart, I'll probably fold up like so and have that as a smaller page in the journal. But like that, I like to have a little bit of, you know, vintage stuff. So I put them all together so I know where they're from. This is from a modern book. There's a picture there of a chemist in 1890, and there we've got a school medical examination. I remember the knit nurse. Anybody else remember the knit nurse? And so that is what they're doing there, looking for the knits. So I actually remember that happening. And then we've got a picture here of, that's Mary Stopes and her nurses, and they ran the first birth control clinic. Very controversial when she first came out. I've got a book written by Mary Stopes. Go through this. I've got a book on illustrations from the Victorian time, and in that were these medicines. So I cut some out to send to Juanette and kept these others myself, so I thought they would work quite nice. And then I've got this another journal. I've got a book, you know, full of lots of magazines that have been bound together, and boy were they bound together hard. They took some getting out. So this is from January 1949, and this was New Joy for the Sick. So this is sort of some apparatus to help them read. So you've got, so there's people in the iron lung there, and so that they could have the book projected up there and they could read it. And if you were flat on your back there, it could get projected on the ceiling so you could read, which quite a sweet idea. I like that. And then there was that's the rest of the story. Now this I thought was really interesting because I was a psychiatric nurse, so this is an article about a film called The Snake Pit, which was about a woman who was in a psychiatric hospital, and I don't think I've seen it myself, and Olivia de Havilland, as I was dragged up on O Films, and as my mum would have watched every film about a psychiatric hospital, I probably have watched it, I just can't remember. So I just thought that as a nod to the, you know, the discipline that I trained in, psychiatry, I thought that was a good one. And here we've got another book here, I can't remember what this book was. It's quite modern, and it's just got some really wonderful pictures in it of medical things, medical apparatus. My friend gave me some books. Her mum was a nurse and she sadly passed away, so she gave me some of her old books. So there's a tumour in the larynx. That's very pretty, isn't it? I always liked the gross and disgusting, so you know, it's a journal for me, so I'm quite happy to have gross and disgusting things. And that, somebody's swallowed, it would seem, a crucifix. As a psychiatric nurse, we had patients swallowed all sorts, so yeah, I quite liked that. So yeah, we got another thing about chronic infections there. That's very pretty. I like that. I did 2 months on look at that, little bugs, in the general. So part of my training, I had to do some time in the general hospital, and I worked on the cardiovascular ward. So it was where so there's lots and lots of amputees, and lots and lots of gangrene and things, and I absolutely, look at that, that's foul, but I love it. I love nothing more than doing dressings on gangrenous limbs and open sores and leg ulcers and things. I loved it. The smell was revolting, you never forget it, but I was quite happy with that. And then this is all about the drugs. So this is we used to use the British National Formulary, but this is a different version of the same thing. So it's got all different drugs. It tells you what they're used for, what contraindications, so telling you don't use it with this drug or don't do this with that, what the dose is, etc. So lots of pages of that. Too many that for me to use, but you know, I thought, oh, they'd be good. I could rip them up and make different you know, master balls with them maybe. And this is all about plaster of Paris, so I thought there was some quite interesting things in there. I thought I wanted some textbooks, and I think I've still got textbooks in the loft, but rooting through those might happen before I finish this, but I've got a feeling they've long since gone, because as I say, I've stopped nursing to then become a teacher, so never really needed those nursing books again. so I probably did get rid. And then here I went through different magazines and got adverts that were sort of medically related. So this is from 1957. I have loads and loads of vintage magazines, and I love the adverts. So we've got kidney aids for rheumatism pain. There we go. Come alive again with Phillips tonic yeast. Some hemorrhoid cream there. Savlon. Some of these things I do actually remember being in our medicine cupboard at home. And then these are from 1925. So these were in December of 1925. The Good Housekeeping magazine. Loads of these. Love these. Mineral Springs Health Granules. Here we've got something for a headache. Here we got vapor hot baths, some iodized tablet salts, so Potter's asthma cure. Yeah, sure that worked. This is like a deep hit. Oh, this is to put on your chest. So Vaseline petroleum jelly with a bit of capsicum in it. Better than mustard plaster. Doesn't blister. Oh, can you imagine? Something to keep you free from colds. So yeah, just lots and lots of really interesting adverts that probably a load of bunkum. And it kind of, you know, think how did they get away with these adverts suggesting that they were gonna look, viral and milk for nerves, that, you know, that they would necessarily work. You know, deaf can hear, some cure for deafness, and there we've got some bovine meat eaters are the longest livers. Okay. As a vegetarian of over 40 years, I beg to differ there. So yeah, lots and lots of things. There seems to be a right old obsession with cod liver oil as well. So there's a granny having it and the little child going, oh yeah, I'll have some of that as well, please. As if children need laxatives. That I was quite astounded by the amount of laxative medication, or non-medication, just sort of lotions and potions that were being peddled for kids' constipation. There we go. And then this one from the 70s. So these were definitely what I would have grown up with. Anadin, it's still around today, isn't it? Things for your corns. Dawn's pills for your back. Aspro, I remember Aspro. Optrex, still around now. Germaloids, I remember seeing that. All bran, natural laxative. Bran buds. More Savlon. Complan, I remember being given Complan in hospital when I had my appendix out when I was a teenager, because I didn't eat my breakfast. So like, oh, got to give you Complan. Not, why am I getting Complan? Because you missed a meal. I just missed breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. I never ate breakfast back then. So they gave me this big jug of Complan and said, I've got to drink it all. I went, no, I'll have my lunch, thank you. I think I had a glass. It was revolting. These made me laugh. Iron geloids. Tired bloods make tired people. Your blood's not tired, you just might be low on iron, in which case you need to go to the doctor and get something proper. Anadin, Optrex, more of that, some more hearing aid stuff. How to save 4,000 calories without trying. Okay. I'm sure that's not a day, is it? That's over the course of however long. And here we've got vitamin C for your growing baby's needs. Yeah, balanced diet, good. There we go. And then that's an advert for nursing. So this is SEN training, 2 years, starting at 18. And that is what, yeah, pay scales. Would that be, I don't know, is that must be a year. That must be your annual salary, I imagine. I started, yeah, because I started training in the 80s and we got £400 a month during my training. So that can't be a month, that's got to be a year. Don't seem much, does it? So yeah, anyway, I digress there. Looking at that, I was just astounded at how little they were paid. There we go. Another advert there, a nice picture of a nurse. There we go. So that is what I have been gathering. They'll make, some of these will make nice pages in themselves, like these big ones. So that would be a nice page. That'd be a whole page in the journal. So yeah, so I've got these. I obviously haven't gone through. I did go through it, and I went through it to pick out ones for Juanette, and I haven't gone through it to keep the ones for me, so that there's a nice effort. So I think what I do, because these are very white, because it's a brand new book, well, not brand new, but you know, fairly new, I'm probably going to tea dye these to make them look older. Quite like the fact it's got Call the Midwife on the back. So this is the actual person who wrote the stories of the Call the Midwife. It was sort of like her memoirs of being a nurse. Right, I'm gonna take that up there. Yeah. So we'll have this. Nice picture of a nurse from a journal. So that's what I'm going to do, is go through this and decide which I want. I have also been searching through the internet. Oh, I like this. What midwives would have had in their bags. I quite like that. Yeah, so I've been searching what's copyright free pictures, adverts, all sorts of things. So I'm in the process of cleaning some of them up in Photoshop. So I will be producing some of those things to also use. And then I'm gonna get ready. I probably won't do too much of this on camera because it's for me, but I might do a flip through. I'm hoping to find some of my uniforms and I might incorporate that into the journal, maybe as the cover or as the spine. Yeah, I thought of that, and I've got, so when I was at university, when I decided to retrain to be a teacher, I worked in a private nursing home. Oh look, good old Florence. We'll have a can't have it without Florence, can we? Oh yeah, I was saying about when I was at uni, and I worked in a private nursing home for people with dementia, and I had a uniform, and I even had a silly frilly hat. You know, even though this was the 90s, we were in, it was a booper, so yeah, we had a silly frilly hat. So I've still got that somewhere. I'll be in the loft if I haven't got it close to hand. So the other thing I've got is some vintage nursing books. And I think I did do a little haul on these. So I've got to take out, I have started taking out some of the pages, and some of these have got adverts in as well, which will go in, but these will sort of help form some actual pages in the journal. Quite like that one because it's got the whole of the front page. Now my mum gave me her nurse's dictionary when I started training to be a nurse. This isn't actually the one that my mum gave me. I got a feeling I've got books up in the loft, and we do plan to empty our loft fairly soon, so I might be able to find them before this is all finished and get the actual journal dictionary, which would be great. So I've got books there about lots of the different drugs, and I thought I'd find some that actually had some of the drugs that I would have given out as a psychiatric nurse. I'm particularly interested in finding chlorpromazine because it seemed that my first ward was an acute psychiatric ward, so lots of people suffering from psychosis. Served gallons of it. It was always in a liquid form. It was an orange liquid, yeah, so I haven't actually checked to see if it's in there. Is another dictionary as well, and then there's all these books here. I've taken some of the pages out. I don't appear to have taken any out of that one, but I have taken them out of these ones. I've sort of took it apart to find some interesting things, and so I've put some of these in a package to my friend Juanette, so I'll be using some of these. I've got a book here, the Mary Stopes book. I think I mentioned that already. Yeah, just some interesting ideas. This book I did take this part, put the cover in with Juanette's book in case she finds that useful. I was going to attempt to maybe make my journal this sort of size, but I don't think that's going to happen. I've got too much. And when I talked about finding public domain pictures of nurses and cleaning them up, so this is what I've done so far. So I'll be using some of these. I might print some of them bigger, but I just put sort of 9 to a page for now. I thought these were quite nice sizes for then making journaling cards. I might turn that into a cabinet card. I really like that one. Since finding that one, I found loads, so I shall do some more of those. And I did those things that I picked out from Call the Midwife. I then tea dyed them, so they now look sort of old and vintage. I mean, they're pictures, they're old pictures, but they were in a modern book and they were quite cleaned up and they were quite white, and now they're looking much better and much older, with a little bit of vintaging up there, and even the adverts now look quite old, and that Florence Nightingale picture looks much older now, so I think that will look much better in the journal. So yeah, so that is another top tip. You take modern books and make them look old by just adding a bit of tea. I think I said coffee, it's tea. So yeah, that is me all ready to start my journal. And yeah, I'll bring you little updates from time to time. That's where we are. Got to decide on. So it is a lot smaller and more containable. When I decide on which pages I want out of these books, it will be something that can go in a little project box. I have these boxes. They're about 5 inches tall, and they do take, this has got other things in it, but you know, an A4 sheet fits in there very comfortably, and you can, this is another project I'm working on, and they make handy little boxes that I can just pick up and know it's that project I'm working on. So that is my little top tip for this week. Hope it was useful. Bye for now. See you all again soon.